Hey everyone, it's Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys a brand new 2024 album review. And as you can see below the title, today we're going to be talking about the new album from the metal gods Judas Priest entitled Invincible Shield, which is out now through Epic Records. Now, I don't need to really say anything about Judas Priest that hasn't been said already by many people. Classic and legendary influential heavy metal band from Birmingham, England, been around since 1969, and they were pretty much a very influential band in the genre, putting out albums such as British Steel, Screaming for Vengeance, Painkiller, which is probably my favorite Judas Priest album. Yeah, been around for a long time, and this is the band's 19th album, following up their previous album, Firepower, which came out in 2018. And it's been like 6 years since we have a new Judas Priest album, but here we are 6 years after Firepower with a new album, new music from Judas Priest. Does this live up or exceed what Firepower has? In my honest opinion, I think it definitely has. Everything is where it needs to be. I feel like they're pretty much one of those bands. I could put them up there with like Iron Maiden, that they like, I've seen Judas Priest live 3 times. I'm gonna see them again in May with Sabaton, so be on the lookout if anybody's going to the Alpharetta show. And they put like bands are like half their age or more to shame live. They're just really that good. Let's just talk about the vocals from Rob Halford. This dude is in his 70s and he still sounds the same as he does in his 80s. He hasn't lost his touch. He has that typical vocal voice, the high like screams that he does. It's hard to describe it. Like, he's one of those vocalists that hasn't lost their voice or anything. He might have gotten older, but he still can hit those notes really well. And it's just saying how he does it after all these years. The guitar work on this album is tight from Richie Faulkner, and of course I think Andy Sneap, who plays live with them, but he's also doing live stuff, playing, I think he's an official member after Glenn Tipton kind of stopped touring with them because he has Parkinson's disease, which is truly terrible, and I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. But Andy Sneap does a really great job, and I think him and Richie's guitar playing is really tight. They both lock in really good. The bass on this album I kind of wish was a little audible from Ian Hill, who's actually the only original member left of the band. I kind of wish his bass was a little bit turned up more. And drumming wise, Scott Travis, in my opinion, I think he's one of my favorite drummers. I put him up there with Nico McBrain, Dave Lombardo, Charlie Benante, those classic drummers from like the 80s and stuff. And he's been killing it ever since Painkiller, and just a really great drummer. So without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is, I believe, the first single from Invincible Shield, which is Panic Attack. Now, right from the get-go, Rob Halford just sounds really ferocious and comes right out of the gate, just firing on all cylinders. And the drumming from Scott adds like a new energy, and Richie, and I guess like Glenn plays on here too. I just realized that. I guess Andy just plays live, but both of them come up with some really great riffs. Thing I love about Judas Priest, especially with the guitar department, is that they go back and forth and they have like new riffs upon new riffs every fucking time, and it's just really great. And I just love how this is a great way to start off this album, and Rob brings it all together there, which is really his signature falsettos, which is pretty much a signature part of the Judas Priest sound. Next up is The Serpent and the King. Now, this song is a really good song, and it has a little bit of diversity in there along the way with the Bandstra Flips the script, mixing in some half-speed breakdowns with some kind of a little bit of like atmospheric-y kind of like little parts in there, which I think it really makes it stand out. Then we move on to the title track of the album, Invincible Shield. Now, this adds a little bit of complexity to the album with the different shifts and sort of like the roller coasters of going up and down. And Richie's guitar solo is really great, as he probably much one of the best guitar solos on this album. And he's just a really fucking great song. Next up is Devil in Disguise. And I think this is a really mid-paced song. which actually kind of reminds me a bit from Redeemer of Souls, which came out literally 10 years ago this year. And the lyrics can be a little bit cheesy at times, and it has a really good drum pattern from Scott. And this song is a little bit more blues based on the guitar, where I feel like, but the song really redeems itself with like the Richie Faulkner's sick playing and a really solid song. Next up is Gates of Hell. Now this song just keeps on rolling, but in a different way. It has sort of like the heavy metal brutality with a little bit of the anthemic quality to it, leaning more towards like the melodic sort of like classic rock. Crown of Horns, another great song. This song has a good extended guitar laden intro which builds up, and though the track actually crescends into like a different place, but one of the most melodic songs on the album. And it's a more of a mid-tempo hard rock with Rob's vocals really just on the forefront. Next song on the album is called As God Is My Witness. Now this song just sounds really just late 80s, early 90s, even reminds you a little bit of like Leather Rebel from Painkiller. This song just has like that bite to it, and it has some really great guitar work with a lot of hammer-ons and everything. Just a fucking great song. Moving on to Trial by Fire. Now this song sonically has a bit of a modern sound to it. And you can hear like a lot of the modern metal bands like Trivium or Avenged Sevenfold in here. And I just feel like you could tell like those newer bands take the influence by, since they grew up with like Maiden and Priest, Metallica, bands like that. Next up is Escape from Reality. Now this song has some really sick riffs, kind of very doomy a bit. Kind of reminds you a lot of like Black Sabbath, and a really catchy chorus in here. I just makes you want to just sing along to. Sons of Thunder. Now when I heard this song has a bit of a, musically has a bit of like a hair metal kind of Sunset Strip vibe a little bit with the gang vocals. Kind of sounds something like Motley Crue or something, but still Judas Priest in a way. Right? It just sounds like something from Hellbent for Leather. It's just really fast and furious, a really good song. Then we close things out with Giants in the Sky, and I feel like this song is very mid-paced and it feels like a tribute to the metal god. It's just very down-tuned, groovy, and thumping and heavy. And I love like the chorus here is catchy with The Legion Still Live On. And the midsection in here kind of slows down has a really nice acoustic guitar solo here. Now overall, Invincible Shield by Judas Priest, pretty good album in their collection. I don't think they could do no wrong. I'm really looking forward to seeing them again in May 11th, 10th, I believe. They're playing at Amerisbank Amphitheater in Alpharetta. So if anybody's going, hope to see you all there. So yeah, that's my review of the new Judas Priest album, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next review. And I give this an 8.5 out of 10. I think I've already said that. But anyway, keep it metal.